Yes, it's time for Type 40 Live, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show all across your view screen on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook. Keeping track of all 5 dimensions as best we can for all things Doctor Who. From right the way back then to the literally right here and the right now, all in front of a live chat full of fellow friends, fans, and companions just like you. And who on earth is that? All this mystery in the air and cowled figures. And where exactly is Paul McGann? We've got cancelled engagements, furtive glances. Is it about time again? Plus, what could the BBC have lined up for us on Doctor Who Day this year? We've been digging so you don't have to. They couldn't let us down. And what's on the telly? What do you think? Absolutely nothing. So you may as well stay here for the next couple of hours and get loaded up with all the latest from across the Huniverse with us. There's more going on than you think. And as ever, lots of speculation and stupid jokes to be had. We'll definitely bring the balance where all of that is concerned and where time and space allows. Hello, yes, so I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, and whoever you are, thank you for being here. We'll find out who you are in a moment or two. We've got people in the live chat already. Thank you. Okay, so, I've been sort of channel hopping lately around in this thing to see whether I can tune into anything halfway decent. No. So we have to make our own entertainment, don't we? Because it has gone very, very quiet. Fortunately for you, we've been decoding some signals and we're getting close to something that's almost legible. It may not make any sense, but in the future, when we watch all of this back, I don't know, it might all come together. It might make something approaching a kind of sense. What do you think, Gary? What do you think our chances are?
Well, as you know, Dan, random speculation with no basis in fact whatsoever is probably Doctor Who fans' top ability. So
very much so.
Sure that
I think it's part of the fun.
Oh yes, because I mean sometimes our speculations turn out to be way more interesting than what actually happens.
Yes, I think Russell has been sort of actually he can't have been taking notes, otherwise he'd have done some of it, wouldn't he?
I don't like to think about what he would or would not do.
How have you been the last few days, Gary? Have you recovered yet from all the excitement of finding out about the war between the land and the sea the other day?
It's a continual source of daily intrigue for me. So hey, you know what, Dan? I'm just happy I'm on the other side of the world from your ice storm over there. So
it's got so cold. I mean, I'm trying not to be the British guy who complains about the weather all the time, but me, it's gone cold. Layered up. I think I've got about 6 or 7 layers on at the moment.
Yeah.
It's something to wrap around my head. Don't be surprised if I put on a woolly hat or something of that kind. And then by the end of the stream, I'll have a scarf wrapped around the rest of me.
Just give us fair warning.
Mummified by midnight. That's the plan. Okay, who's next? She's on her way to. I recognise a roll neck when I see one, Charlotte.
Yes, you can tell when winter comes when I'm in proper thick jumpers. Hello, everybody.
Good to see. How have you been the last few days? You all right?
I've been cold, like been stood at train stations and stood outside for work. So I definitely was like, having arguments with many children about put a coat on. Like that's when you know it's winter.
Where's your coat? And they look at you and go, like you're speaking a foreign language.
Like there's a new concept to them, especially boys. It's just like, get your coat on. And they're just like, no. It's like, that's been my argument this week.
I went to get some petrol last night. And as I was making my way back from the kiosk, back across the car park. So I was wearing a T-shirt with a hoodie and a jacket, a hat and scarf and fingerless gloves, right? And that's just from the waist up. I was similarly clad everywhere else. And this guy gets out of his car, so about 30, something like that, in a pair of like Bermuda shorts and sandals and a singlet, and just strides around like it's what's going on?
Yeah, like I'm now fully out of that phase of being young and being able to not feel cold because I'm not there anymore. But I
So
have done with children.
I used to be the guy who wouldn't, like, where's your coat, that kind of thing. But I don't think I was ever striding around like that as confidently as that. How about you, David? Were you ever one for a singlet in the middle of winter?
Am I one for a singlet ever? But it's a comment. No, I have to say that as I've got my chunky brown jumper on, I've got my rechargeable hot water bottle recharging to my left. The heating has been on. I have had to get my big coat out. So for people in the north, once you get your big coat out, people in the south are obviously panic buying, barricading, stocking for a nuclear winter. In the north, we just get our big coat out, you see. But yes, so it's been very chilly on the end of the old thingy, out and about. Yeah, lo and behold, I haven't seen anybody connected with Doctor Who whatsoever, which means obviously there's going to be a massive, large rumor that Colin Baker's going to come back and fight K9 in a sort of bare knuckle wrestling match. The rumors that have been going on, they are that ridiculous. So
not the strangest thing I've ever heard. No,
but I've got it's a very nice chunky brown jumper, I have to say. So, but I understand that you are going to get some more layers on, Dan. Just don't turn into a furry, as people in the chat are worried about. Hello to people in the chat as well.
I wouldn't do a Luke and suddenly appear from head to toe in an all-in-one hoodie.
In a Pikachu
some
onesie.
Animal description just that happens to be to the side.
The Gruffalo.
Rob Alexander is in the live chat and has a suggestion here: a hot toddy on a cold evening.
Yeah, sounds good.
That sounds filthy.
Yeah,
but you do you.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. What do you put? I wonder what he puts in his toddy. That's the thing.
I don't think I want to know.
And for non-British people,
normally.
Don't ask what a toddy.
Normally, I think it's whiskey. Normally.
Thank you, everybody. Jonathan and Peter, they're all here, as is Funky, Crimpling Doubloons in as well. Dom goes here, and who else? Richard Brooks, and Stephen Braddock, and lots more besides. So yeah, we'll be checking in with you as time and space allows while we make our way through our predetermined points of order, I suppose you could call them, and stops along the way to the next couple of hours worth, and see if we can get as much of it plotted down as we possibly can. Just don't hold it against us at a later date. Lee Smith it says it's Arctic up in Cumbria. Are you up in Cumbria?
Yeah, they've had snow.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had snow in
you guys can have a snow day.
Yeah.
Snow day. Where's my jumper? Yes. Grab your woolies. Grey Friars, G Friars, Grey Friars says, greetings from the northwest of England where it's bloody cold. It's cold everywhere, and we'll try and stop complaining about it. We promise. Okay, thank you for all the comments, everybody. We'll check back in with you in a moment or two, I don't doubt, because we are here. We're here to talk about Doctor Who, believe it or not. It's nearly 62 years old this coming Sunday. We've got another anniversary rolling around. Not a great deal going on, or is there? We'll touch on some of that later on. You may be surprised, and you may be delighted. I don't know. But at this time of year, I often think back to the various traditions that have involved Doctor Who at winter, I suppose. Yeah, latter part of the autumn into the winter, as long as I can remember, really. And one of them is the whole brand's partnership with Children in Need. 4 decades plus, I think, of Children in Need and Doctor Who, practically hand in hand. But with the traditional Friday night telethon that they do on BBC One getting drastically trimmed down, and the reputation of the BBC itself now in tatters, it does seem that they've even put Children in Need somewhat on the down low. And Doctor Who didn't appear to be anywhere near it this year. So, what about the children in need of more Doctor Who? So those children, I was thinking, the children in need connection. It's a curious thing, isn't it, Gary? I mean, you know all about it. Of course you do, steeped in decades worth of Who knowledge as you are. But it must be quite weird seeing it from the other side of the Atlantic for a sci-fi show to have this kinship with just one charity.
Well, of course, I always watch, whatever presentation they put out, the Who related stuff, but it looks like that they don't really do it with like a lot of other shows. I mean, does Children Need to have like skits from other, a lot of the more popular? Okay.
There used to be several.
But it's not as big as like Comic Relief. That gets more wider sort of coverage at the BBC of shows doing little things, whereas Children Need gets a smaller amount of sketches really dedicated to it.
Look, as long as we don't get Walking Davros this year, I think we should all consider ourselves lucky.
We're always on the upside without any of that. There was an auction all the way back in February to benefit children in need. So this raised £245,000 for the charity back in February.
Wow.
Selling off Doctor Who costumes and props. Do you remember this?
Dan, how much did you bid on that second from the left item?
It doesn't ring any bells. No. I think I'd have gone for the Cyberman head, if anything. So that was they seem keen on Doctor Who when it can, I suppose, make them money from bits of old crap they've got lying around in a cupboard somewhere that are falling apart. I mean, look at the state of that weeping angel. No wonder she's weeping.
Yeah.
Did they auction off the hand or something? What happened?
They auction it off limb by limb.
It fell off.
It wouldn't at all surprise me. So, but apart from that, it's been very thin on the ground this year. But it turns out there has been a special of sorts. I don't know if you've seen this because it's gone very much under the radar to the point where it's not even official. So it was filmed at Harloxton Manor in Grantham in Lincolnshire. So over your way, David,
very near me. Very near me. I think, and I'm prepared to be corrected, but I think that's where King Charles has previously stayed when he's visited the county. It's very grand, very very posh, and I've only ever visited it once for reasons I cannot explain. But so I will tell you after the show.
Was it one of those parties, was it?
It was. But yeah, it's a very, very grand and lovely estate.
It looks spectacular.
The only thing nice about Grantham, I have to tell you, the birthplace of Baroness Thatcher. But it's lovely. It is glorious. Just up the road, just down the road, or up the road, however you want to say it, from Belvoir Castle, spelled Belvoir. So it's Grantham has got a few stately estates in that sort of area, but it is glorious.
Well, it's got into a bit of a state over the last couple of weeks because the Doctor Who legends have descended upon it. So this is what they call a sketch. They're calling it a sketch rather than a minisode because I don't think it's official, but it was published on the 7th of November, and it's called Tiny Time Lord Trouble. So it reunites former companion Sophie Aldred's Ace there with the show's mascot Pudsey. 32 years since Dimensions in Time, believe it or not. It's all written and directed by a guy called Steve Healy, and it's up on his own YouTube channel, one of a set of 3 very curious videos. So have any of you seen these? Were you aware of this?
No.
I've seen it. Sorry, Charlotte.
I haven't watched it, but I heard they'd done something. But like you, I remember even just looking up on the night, because usually they do a schedule, they sort of say what's happening, just to see Doctor Who appeared, and I did find it quite telling that on the night it was not published, there was no, like you said, it looked like Doctor Who once again was going to be a no-show, and it has for the last couple of years, sadly, hardly been a part of Children in Need.
Would you like to take a look at the first of these 3 videos? This one is called Dr. Pudsey, and I think they may be taking the mick out of someone ever so slightly.
Oh no. Wow.
Yes, we
Dr.
may joke about
Furry.
it, but we do have our first furry doctor. After all, David, it's had to happen, didn't it?
It did. It was only. It was never going to last, was it?
Well,
It's only a
that, you know
matter of
what?
time.
That actually turned out better than the last time we saw someone in the woods with a hoodie. So
I felt a massive sigh of relief, I have to say. Yes, it just strikes me as a very strange thing to do. I mean, it's sort of raise awareness and to raise money about children in need, but not be part of the BBC's own event, own campaign this year does seem odd, but it is all up to watch here on YouTube. So that was just the trailer. The rest of it was a set of, well, a mini-sode, a more traditional mini episode of Doctor Who, revolving around Ace's search to reunite the Doctor in his newly regenerated form as Pudsey with his yellow TARDIS there, which I think that's rather striking.
it
reminds me of
is.
one of the old-
I
one of the
like
old-
that.
It reminds me of one of the old wheel clamps they used to put on cars, if you remember, David.
Yeah. It's very much traffic warden yellow, isn't it?
I mean, with the different colored windows, I like that.
It's strangely hypnotic, I think. Daleks and Cybermen appear with the Doctor literally reincarnated here as Pudsey Bear, and the action all plays out in Harlexton Manor in a kind of 3-minute skit, I suppose, with some terrible jokes, but some pretty good voice work and lots of cheap laughs, I suppose. It's done with a lot of affection, I think it's what really counts with this stuff, Charlotte. It's something that the BBC's own contributions have been lacking in recent years, as we've just said.
Well, I find it quite comical that the actual televised Doctor Who for the last 2 series could not manage to get either a Dalek or a Cyberman in a single episode, and we've got them both on here. So that makes me giggle, not gonna lie. But yeah, I think this has clearly been done either by a fan or somebody who's got some measure of affection, because you wouldn't have these sort of because like look at that Cyberman. It's an old one. It's from Classic, that design. It's not a new one.
Yeah.
So I think these are very brilliant and just fun when they happen.
So the video that we just saw is an actual ad for the entire event.
Yeah, that's the first clip. So there's 3 short films. That was the first one. The middle one is a lot longer. It's like 3 or 4 minutes worth.
Okay.
And you get Sophie running around the manor, playing out a skit, a plot with a small P and a small L. O and T, come to think of it. But it's all done with a kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of mentality. For the little ones was the impression I got. But what I don't understand is the little ones, the like between 5 to 8 year olds, they're not really going to know who Ace is, are they? In fact, tragically, a lot of them aren't even going to know what Daleks and Cybermen are, the state of the profile of Doctor Who at the moment.
Yeah, but this hasn't been done for that audience. Like, this has clearly been done for long-term fans.
Yeah, that what we just saw, the Woods thing, that's so inside baseball. I mean, clearly we know what that's referencing. But, just Mr. and Mrs. Joe Public, it's like, okay, boy, I mean, that's, yeah.
Tiny Time Lord Trouble is what they've titled this mini episode, and we are warned that because Steve doesn't have any official rights to use the Daleks, the Cybermen, or represent children in need officially, he has warned that it may need to be taken down at any time. So yeah, go and take a look at it while you can. But all the links are there, obviously, to raise money for children in need. Should people be in the position where they can make a donation, David, and that's what really matters. The BBC wouldn't insist they take this down, surely.
Well, with what's been going on recently, who knows? But it would be a massive end goal to the BBC if they took down something that was meant to fund their own sort of charity. And I can't for one moment think that they would take it down and strike a copyright claim, because quite right, it is a massive charity, and less so now since Terry Wogan died. I think it's become. I think he was the main sort of like tour de force behind it. And sadly, when he died, it was never the same again. But I actually liked the script. It was probably the best piece of Doctor Who that has been written for a number of years. There's a great bit of byplay. John Coleshaw did the voices of the Dalek and the Cyberman, and there's a lovely little bit of comic byplay between them. And there are wonderful moments throughout it, and there is a moment that it really tugs on your heartstrings, and you just think, well, and that's near the end of the clip, and you just think, actually, it's not that hard to make a little sketch, really, is it? It's not that hard to write some good quality material for a show that's beloved by many. And take note, please, Mr. Davies, that actually, if you keep it simple and you keep it heartfelt, actually, you're 3/4 of the way there, really. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to. It's not preachy. It's not lectury. It's just a bit of a love letter to the show, whilst trying to raise money for charity. So it's very inoffensive and back onto the right sort of things that Doctor Who used to have with children in need before we got tap dancing Davros.
Since you put it like that, David, I agree. I think there has been some sort of change. I don't think children in need has been politicized as such, but it's certainly its shine has sort of worn off a little bit. And pulling the kind of stunts that it pulled with Doctor Who regarding Davros 2 years ago, obviously not many people are going to remember that outside of Doctor Who fandom, but it probably hasn't helped. They are all up on his YouTube channel. That's Steve Healy on YouTube. Link in the description. Go and watch them while you can, would be my advice. And if you are in a position where you want to donate to children in need, do so by all means. But yeah, I do look back on previous minisodes and times with great affection. Of course I do, not just from when I was a kid, but from when my kids were little as well. One of which was definitely this. So this is the minisode from Christmas 2005. Children in Need Day, 2005, leading into the Christmas special. It's just marked its own 20th anniversary. And in a surprise move, the BBC has uploaded the whole thing, which Russell T. Davies terms as Born Again, this minisode. I never liked that title, but he calls it Born Again, and that does seem to have been universally adopted. So Born Again is now up on the BBC's own official Doctor Who YouTube channel for the very first time. But the crucial matter with this is it's not the version that is available on physical media. So every time this has been released as an extra on a DVD or even a Blu-ray, in whichever box set or steelbook it is you've got, with this on it, they've always included the work print edition by mistake. Nobody's ever bothered to go back and upgrade it, even though they know it's the work print edition without the correct music and slightly different cuts. It's all a little less polished. They've never gone back and reinstated the as broadcast version of this minisode, but it's up on the YouTube channel for the very first time. Have you got many fond memories of this one, Charlotte? Did you see this when it was on?
Oh, so yes, I have, because I was very young. I was just getting into Doctor Who when this went out, and it was my first regeneration with Eccleston. So I think for a lot of my generation, we sort of had to get over the shock of having a Doctor be around for a series and then gone. And that's what I do think this was a really clever move of Russell at the time, to sort of give you that little taster of Tennant. So then when you did watch the Christmas Invasion, you sort of felt like you knew a little bit of this new face. And then it didn't feel as much of like, wow, I have to get used to the new guy. And I'm surprised that they didn't do this for other Doctors, honestly. But I think maybe they would have done this with Capaldi, for example. Give us a little bit of Capaldi before his first series to sort of ease some of the fans then into that incarnation.
What this really was, and why Russell could accommodate something like this, is because everybody involved was, despite the publicity that had gone into it, they were taken by surprise the success of Doctor Who that year, and they hadn't got toys in the shops, they hadn't got the tea cozies, they hadn't got the underpants, none of that stuff was ready, and the appetite for more, they knew they needed to get more out somehow so that people didn't forget about it. And I wouldn't say they used Children in Need. I think it was a very mutually beneficial scenario. I remember Terry Wogan introducing this, funny enough, David, and he wasn't always the kindest when it came to Doctor Who. He would admit that he wasn't a fan of it and all that kind of thing. But his face when he introduced this, knowing it had been the TV hit of the year, and they got something exclusive and specially written, and with a new lead actor, you could see the pride on his face, even though somehow in the same scene, David Tennant's new 10th Doctor had his hair completely restyled halfway through.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still cooking.
It's that barber on the TARDIS that the 15th Doctor made good use of regularly. But yeah, it was Sir Terry at the time. He loved new stuff for Children in Need, even if it was dancing weathermen and weather girls, or newsreaders doing the cha-cha. He loved it. It was. I think it probably goes back to when he had the joy of introducing the 5 Doctors as well, because that was a massive thing for Children in Need night.
Yeah,
and back in 1983, and I believe it was even
he scoffed on that night. If you go back and watch the links, he was scoffing watching that. I don't think, as I remember, I've since found out that Wogan, I wouldn't say he resented the fact that they were giving over 90 minutes of Children in Need night to Doctor Who, but he was mystified as to why they'd chosen to do it. I think he'd asked questions about it, but you'd never have known from how professional he was. He interviewed Peter Davison, didn't he, just before, and things like that.
It was, because you can understand why, because that's 90 minutes of potential fundraising, because people might forget to donate whilst the program's on. And the whole idea of the program is a sort of charity telethon. And I personally, I think because they had clips and shorts, essentially, as you'd call it today, he was absolutely thrilled to get the surprise hit of the year on his sort of main fundraising show, because it was him. Initially, it was him and Sue Cook, but then it became him and sort of like Gabby Roslin, and Tess Daly Latterly, and so this was a prime thing to get people, and it also meant that more people would be watching the telethon. so it's more chance to get people to donate. So
to get their first snippet of the guy, of the completely unknown guy, really, who's inheriting this huge cultural institution after its surprise comeback. David Tennant fares surprisingly well in this. It's the first time we see him with Billy Piper. They didn't record the actual regeneration together. Gary, you probably know that. David Tennant's parts were recorded months and months later. There's nobody else there. All that kind of thing. But I think this is a lot of fun, and it just sort of walk us through, doesn't it? Walk us to the Christmas invasion very nicely. A few weeks later, this was a really heady time to be a Doctor Who fan, to watching it all sort of ignite, and we couldn't possibly have predicted how huge it would get, could we?
Well, I mean, of course, back in the original Tennant years, I mean, the show was a juggernaut. It's interesting. I thought it was clever that the way they structure it is that if you happen to miss the Children in Need minisode, it didn't impact on the Christmas invasion. You could still,
No.
I mean, they kind of dovetailed with each other, but you could still watch the main episode, the main Christmas special, without having seen it. Although on the flip side, it is a pretty kind of important scene, so you'd think that they would have found some way to maybe, repeat it or something for the wider audience. But no, I thought this was very cleverly done.
Well, I think Charlotte is onto something when she said, "Oh, they didn't do it again." And I think the reason why they didn't do it again is simply because this scene was technically too important. And when Doctor Who became a global hit and a product, a brand again, they couldn't market something like this abroad, because they're not meant to be repeated or financially exploited in any way. And so I think that's why we've never had anything quite like this again, that sort of stitched itself into the actual show. Even Time Crash it's detached somehow in a way that this isn't. I wouldn't say this feels essential, but it feels important in some respects, I think, Charlotte.
Well, yeah, the big thing about this is Rose's reaction. This is a companion who doesn't really have a clue about what regeneration or really the full life of what the Doctor is as an alien yet. She's just gotten used to Eccleston's face, and then he bursts into flames and this guy appears. So it's that cultural sort of shock. And I think the reason why this works separate is because that theme of Billy or Rose adjusting is then carried on in the Christmas invasion. You have those scenes with her and Jackie in the kitchen, of her sort of saying, "I don't know him anymore." So it's almost just being more dialogue heavy of what this scene more emotionally and just with her pure acting she showed off in this minisode. So I think it's sort of part one, and then it gets carried on quite beautifully, and because Billy's such a good actress, she can pull it off.
Doctor Once is in the live chat on YouTube and says, "I'm pretty sure this was released correctly on the Blu-ray box set in 2023, actually." No, it wasn't. This is the first time the correct version has been seen officially from the BBC at all. Now, I don't just make all this stuff up, I do look into before I broadcast. I can assure you, this is on YouTube now. I mean, if you didn't have the foresight to record it at the time, of course I did. I was completely and utterly obsessed with the show, and I couldn't wait to see more. So I did record it, but I had noticed how on each release, it's never the correct one. The correct one is now up, looking the best it's ever looked, to be honest. I think they've spruced it up a little, and it's on the Doctor Who YouTube channel for you to enjoy before you get in maybe a 20th anniversary rewatch of the Christmas Invasion. I do love this story, so fair play for the BBC for putting it right. It's only taken them 20 years to sort out Born Again, but there we are. As for David Tennant, is he born again? I don't know, but he was certainly present and shiny looking. I think that's a collection of product on both his face and his hair. He was at the BAFTA Scotland Awards early this week there with Hugh McGregor, who I understand is a bit of a hero of David Tennant's, hero of mine, a fabulous actor. And there they are, both kilted. And I think that was at the start of the night. So things would get a lot worse a lot worse for David Tennant, who seems to be doing some sort of bad impression of Johnny Cash. He looks like a Johnny Cash tribute band, I thought. He didn't come away with any awards that night. It was an L for DT, but
Yeah,
At least he's having
like
fun.
he looks like he should be in Carmen, the opera, as a toreador or something. He really, it's strange, isn't it? It's sort of
You know
like
what
a sparkly.
When I saw that outfit, my first reaction is he's morphing into Elvis.
He does like his diamonds and jewels and everything.
Too craggy. It's Johnny Cash. It's Johnny Cash for me. Elvis was quite baby faced, wasn't he? So for me, it's Johnny Cash, but obviously results may vary.
Or Cliff Richard. You never know.
We've got people rocking in and rocking up as we are talking. So we've got the Darren Zones drifting in. He's certainly been wearing the Carmen rollers, says Philip. David, can you decipher what that means? What's he talking about?
No, no. It's probably a gag that I've gone completely over my head. So help me out, Phil, please.
Looking far smarter.
What the rollers that you used to put in your hair? I think. Am I right, Phil? Am I right? My grandma used to have them.
What, like Coronation Street, the famous character I always had them in.
It was an electric roller set. It might be. So, please, Phil, help me out.
Yeah, this isn't so much an outfit as a cry for help, but yeah,
I am right.
Better look next time to David Tennant. Obviously, a far classier act was seen last week. Now, we did talk about this last week, but I wanted to come back around to it. Tom Baker, of course, at 92 years of age, in just a couple of months' time, believe it or not. Now, if you remember, he had his investiture last week, finally picking up his MBE, which he was given in the New Year's Honours List this year, and here he was with Louise Jameson. We've had some follow-up from this article, from this story, with more articles and pictures over recent days, and not least of all with the Radio Times. They've got this brand new quote here from Tom Baker. They had a chat with him, and in reference to the occasion, he said it was a real honour to receive the MBE from Lady Colgrane, representing His Majesty, in the same way as it was a real honour for me to play Doctor Who for all those years. It never ceases to amaze me how fondly people remember me, and I found it hard to believe it was so long ago when I found myself back in the TARDIS last week with my beloved scarf around my neck. Tom Baker, MBE. He looks thrilled, Gary, doesn't he?
This is such a wonderful event, and every picture that I see of it just kind of, you just feel warm inside. I mean, I wish that it didn't amaze him how fondly everybody remembers and loves him. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess it's very nice and humble, but it's like, Tom, accept the fact that we all adore you, please.
I don't think he will. And I think with certain actors, they just don't seem to ever completely understand their reach, or how, maybe the better way to put it is, how they affect us as fans or people who watch their work. It's like they just, and you think with Tom, like, you're right, Gary, like, out of all the classic actors, he should know better than anybody what his legacy is, and he never seems to fully sort of understand it. But I think that's some of the charm as well with Tom, because there's no ego. Yeah. I know, like we said before, there was times when he's not had the kindest attitude to the show, but I think now that's all disappeared, and he's just sort of very humble, and he's got that love back. You can just hear it when he says "my beloved scarf." You can always hear his voice say that, and the way he would say it.
And I'm happy to say that you can find out a lot more about Tom's MBE, his investiture, and something more about the man himself too, This coming weekend for Doctor Who Day, you're going to get a special edition of the Type 40 podcast where my special guest was someone who was actually there for that investiture, and they give me exclusively the inside story. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you're subbed up and hit the cluster bell to get all your notifications, because that's on the way here at the Type 40 podcast. You can get earlier editions of the show, of course, on all major podcatchers and at our home feed at type40.podbean.com, including a review of Planet of Evil to tie into that latest Blu-ray box set release, and lots of other news and reviews and interviews and previews and deep dives, all there across the podcatcher of your choice. Type 40 Live's previous live streams up here too, to travel back through to your heart's content all our news coverage for the last year or two, where we have an impeccable hit rate for bringing you the stories months, if not a year sometimes, before the official sources do. So get on all of that, or relive some of your favorites and some of our darkest of days there over on the playlists. The other day, of course, we were in to talk about the double bill that's coming up in a week or two's time. That's on December the 7th, isn't it? So we've got that spruced up but trimmed down version of the Sea Devils and the 2 premiere episodes of The War Between the Land and the Sea. If you missed that, go and check out what we had to say about all those latest revelations about what's coming then. Is anybody ready? I don't know. We've got a couple of weeks to get used to the idea. Oh, in for a penny, in for a pound. That's how it rolls here at Type 40 Live on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you are sitting that one out, we'll be in the trenches on your behalf. Stick with us. Okay, everybody. Okay, where to now? How about here? Yes. There he is. Yes, so the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, he celebrated his birthday last week, 66 years of age, believe it or not, and has become slowly engulfed in further rumours concerning him either appearing in or even starring in next year's Christmas special, which we only found out about a few weeks ago, if you remember. This is how it works, isn't it? I mean, is this just fandom expanding to fill the vacuum with the usual kind of speculation and wish fulfillment, I suppose, Gary? I think that could be a reasonable enough assumption based on past form. After all, we have gone for about 10 days with no actual news. We're very impatient as a fandom, aren't we?
Yeah, if we don't get actual news, we'll make it up. We cannot abide a vacuum.
We've been left on one hell of a cliffhanger, so maybe that's made it worse.
Well, maybe then Billy will just keep regenerating and she'll change into Paul McGann.
Now, I had written all of this off, I must be honest, as the most idle of speculation, because there didn't seem to be a great deal to it. But could the 8th Doctor really be back properly this time? Because there's a chain of events that we've been following, and I am starting to wonder. So the very first thing that we heard came from Bad Wolf Studios in Cardiff. Now, all that really happened is that someone's cousin saw someone who looked like Paul McGann. I know there's not much here, really. Someone's cousin, that's really what happened, saw someone who looks like Paul McGann at Bad Wolf Studios back in September, which itself is 2.5 months ago. So I think we could be on shaky ground already there. But you think, well, there could be. It's quite likely. Paul McGann is a pretty recognisable person, particularly if you're a Doctor Who fan, and I think a great many of the people who work there probably are. But obviously Bad Wolf is a big studio. they make lots of different things at Bad Wolf, and now they rent out studio space as well to other studios, so they can also make their shows there. And Paul McGann is one of the most busy working character actors still in Britain. So I thought, oh, maybe it was him, but that still doesn't mean that he was anywhere near Doctor Who, Charlotte. It still seems a bit of a reach.
Well, yeah, I was like you. I saw like rumblings and people online talking, and I was like, I sort of joked with myself. I was like, there's no news, so of course the Paul McGann rumor comes back out to play, because we've had this lots of times, because his Doctor is sort of seen as the Doctor that didn't get the chance he should have, or the Doctor that was sort of left forgotten almost until the audios, but people still really hunger for television of him, for actually a series or something more substantial. But then it got louder and louder, and like you, I was like, actually, could there be something to this?
I think the fact that he is so dedicated, I suppose, to the convention circuit, to those audio dramas as well, which I think he's been part of that range for well over 2 decades now, David. This guy has done some time in the trenches. So whilst I do think that this incarnation is in from the cold, I think it's the fact that Paul himself is very, very likable, very heroic, and everything that I think that most of us would see that the Doctor should be. He's kind of, in many respects, he feels like he was the ultimate, certainly classic model of the Doctor. So I think there's that. But then there's also the fact that he's got this annoying thing whereby he doesn't really look that much older, even though 3 decades have gone by.
Yeah.
It's really infuriating.
He's obviously got a portrait that ages in his loft, and which keeps him, Miss Dorian Gray, very youthful looking. Right. So somebody's cousin thinks that they saw somebody that looks like Paul McGann. Okay. Right.
That's right.
Filming, as I understand, this whole sort of connection. The first thing I just want to say before I get carried away is there are 4 lights, not 5. Okay. There are 4 lights.
Because it doesn't matter how many audio dramas that we hear, and he's made a lot, and they're constantly finding new ways to reinvent his audio range as well. And I think it's one of the best ones to get on board with and follow. Totally. Right, it's kind of got its own internal timeline, I suppose, and it just feels very special and very intimate because of the characters' lesser screen time, I suppose you could say. So I think that's grown the bond as well. But
he's amazing.
There is more sort of gradually coming to the fore with this. Not only as Paul McGann, David, announced that he's had to back away from a commitment to be at the next Gallifrey 1 convention early next year, which is, well, people do that, don't they? Because usually when he's secured acting work, apparently for a few months, and he just can't make it anymore. So it's perfectly reasonable. Actors and actresses do that all the time, don't they?
They do, and I have a theory with respect to that as well. Look, Doctor Who would probably enter production around springtime next year, in all likelihood, to get it finished June, July for the Christmas, to do all the post-product work. But there is also another story, a massive franchise coming back next year, which will be filming in Belfast, called Line of Duty. And that is due to start filming early spring. Now, I'm not saying so please don't let the rumours start. I'm not saying Paul McGann will be in Line of Duty, but if you consider the fact that he has backed out of an event at sometime in January, February, March, he has got this filming commitment. So the read-throughs, I imagine, for the first Line of Duty sort of stuff would be probably going ahead in January. The work would then be done February, March, April time. So he may have a role in Line of Duty Series 7. So he may have a role in the invasion of the clogknackers coming to
You've convinced me.
ITVX. Yeah, so the thing is, I love the man. I love his audios. I love everything to do with the Eighth Doctor. Even though it slightly went off recently with Big Finish, I love everything to do with Paul McGann. I'm an avid fan. I love Hibbs' role, how he plays the Doctor in the Eighth in that TV movie. I'm not a huge fan of the TV movie per se, but I love him in it. And it would be lovely for him to somehow be involved with Doctor Who again, but not under the current writer that has stuffed up so much Doctor Who. I would, if he were to come back, I would like it with a new team in charge, that who I believe would respect his Doctor a little bit more than the Doctor has been shown respect for under the Russell T Davies era Mark II, and the LTD stuff that I or the DLT, or what is it, whatever the acronym is, the Last Davis. I think it could be entitled TLD, The Last Davis.
Oh, you're talking about the Bad Wolf story from the on the last show.
It could mean. I thought about it again. I thought it could mean The Last Davis, as in the Last Davis episode. But please, Paul. I hope you're on Line of Duty Series 7, because I love that show just as much as I love Doctor Who, and I think he would make a really bad gangster sort of type.
To be honest, David, I watched Line of Duty. I'm a massive fan as well. And what they tend to do every series is they get a big marquee British actor to be like a new character, and they tend to be a bit of the villain of the piece.
Yeah.
And I think McGann could play that kind of the dodgy copper, the one that's sort of trying to get the anti-corruption team. And he would fit the kind of actor they tend to get on Line of Duty. So I could see that being a possibility for your theory.
Because he does play a very convincing wrong, doesn't he? Didn't he play some sort of surgeon who had a kind of sadistic bent when he was on Holby City a few years ago? And they secured him for a sort of limited time, didn't they? And apparently played a proper nasty piece of work in that.
Even his Doctor, and this is something I love about the Eighth Doctor, especially on his audios, they sort of write him in bits to have a bit of a streak about him.
Yeah.
He can sort of have very cutting lines. He can, like, it's sort of like with his Doctor, it's like when he's fed up and he's not going to play nice anymore, he proper goes for the throat sometimes in those audios. And he sort of snarls, and he's and it's brilliant to listen to. Even in that, what you've shown in The Night of the Doctor, you could see a bit of that when he was talking with the Sisterhood of Khan, that he was just sort of like, why are you making me die? Like, I don't want to. So I think if you were to write his Doctor now, you would have to write some of that in him, because I think that's become a big part of his personality, honestly, what the fans are used to.
Even more likely than sort of speculating about him being in any drama is a drama he's already involved with. And I'd forgotten about this. The Zero Room reminds us that Luther is also coming back. So Netflix are about to start making the second Luther film, aren't they? And he's part of the expanded cast of that. Yeah. So I don't know if he was in the first film or not, because I've never seen it. But I think he's quite integral to it. He's a recurring character, Gary. So I think that's more likely when something is imminently about to be filmed now that's being greenlit, that it probably would be 3 or 4 months, I would say, depending on somebody's involvement with it. But Paul McGann is one of Britain's most in-demand character actors. He was in 2013 when they made the Five-ish Doctors, and if you remember, the script made reference to that, and it's still the case now. He's never really off the screen.
Well, I love all of the Doctors through Capaldi, but for me, Tom Baker, Paul McGann, and Matt Smith were, for me, the only 3 actors who, like, from the first instant, for me, was the Doctor.
Me too.
Those 3. I think that Paul McGann like captured it right away. I bought him as the Doctor from second one, and just like Matt Smith and Tom Baker. But it's clear to me kind of what's going on here. Clearly, it's kind of like a big multi-show conspiracy to add Paul McGann to the cast list of Luther and Line of Duty, to just for the sole purpose of throwing us off, so that they'll keep him on the cast list until the last minute, until Doctor Who, which they'll call something else, like they'll call it like something like the Gingerbread House or some kind of coded title like that, in order to fool us all. And then he will be making, his big reappearance in the Christmas special.
They do get
everything else is just a smoke screen.
Satisfaction out of things like that, don't they? Out of wrong foot in a Charlotte.
Well, yeah, I think, like we've all said, McGann, out of all the classic actors that are still around as Doctors, is the busiest, because he doesn't age. He's still very much got his voice, and I think that's one of his most talented parts. He's got such a rich voice. He's a bit like Tom in that way. I do find it funny that they're both Scousers, that they've got such this sort of rich but old sounding, sort of cultured, very intelligent voice. That's not changed. He still sounds to me the exact same he did in the TV movie. So he can still work very easily. So this could be anything. But I could see the cynical reason why Bad Wolf would do this. And I think that's also why this is gaining traction, this sort of rumour. Because last year in Series 2, the only times anybody spoke about those episodes of Shooties, the only time, because I was looking at social media a bit and just seeing when it was popping sort of discussion. Do you know when it was? When the Rani appeared.
Oh.
When Omega got rumoured, and then we sort of got the confirmation that Omega's coming back. It was all the classic characters. It was all the old sort of really...
Susan,
yeah, that's the other big thing. Like, that got people talking after that Eurovision episode. And we know how much Russell and his team is looking at online reactions. They have admitted they are writing for content online. They are writing for people on YouTube. So they would have seen that. And I can't help but think logically here, like I said, we're still just speculating, but logically, if you see that pattern, what's the other big get you could get? What's the other big classic thing that all the fans for years have been sort of saying, please, can we have Paul McGann? And I could see why they would go, okay, people don't care about the Billy twist, let's chuck Paul McGann.
Zarbi.
Now you mention it, it does make a certain amount of sense. And there is more, I'm happy to say. This is why I felt that we really should talk about this. Another sighting, believe it or not, this time at Camber Sands. Okay. Now, this Camber Sands is a place where they film a lot of TV. It's very conveniently located and has been used in everything from sitcoms to old episodes of Doctor Who. You may have seen it, for example, in The Chase or in The Ultimate Foe. So they've been there before. But for the purposes of this is an actual sighting, it would seem, according to users of X. Now, what's being claimed is that Paul McGann, this is no sort of, I think it may be him. Apparently, Paul McGann has actually been sighted at this location just a few weeks ago.
There you
not
go.
Not only Paul McGann, but in costume as the Doctor, with a TARDIS there too, according to these X accounts. So we've got these two users. Cleo Mortimer was the first person to mention it. This would have been about 5 or 6 days ago now. So she said, a friend of mine was at Camber Sands on Wednesday, the 12th of November. Doctor Who was being filmed. Paul McGann in his Night of the Doctor costume along with the TARDIS. And this was responded to, reposted by Andrew Morris, who's a writer, I believe. And he said, an acquaintance of mine worked on this Doctor Who project and confirmed filming took place at Camber Sands that day. Paul McGann performed in his Guardians of the Edge costume, and the TARDIS was present. Ever professional, my acquaintance refused to spill the beans any further. Now, Andrew Morris in particular, I don't know either of these individuals, but they're not standard sort of accounts, anonymous accounts that are just there to put out baseless speculation and cause trouble. I think this is a lot more solid than somebody thinking they saw someone on a car park, Gary.
Two thoughts. One is that I think, to me, this clearly indicates that McGann is filming, they're doing a sequel to Trial of a Time Lord, since that's where they filmed the last episode of that, and it's the same location. It will follow from that.
Yeah.
The second is that I dismissed this when I saw a reference to this earlier this week online. It's just random fan speculation. But it could be that because they film the material for the Blu-ray sets so far in advance, if they are doing a Wilderness Years Blu-ray set with the TV movie and all of the 90s stuff that happened, that could be special filming for that. I mean, I don't know.
All I'll say is, didn't they stop doing the Blu-ray trailers and the sort of the extra bespoke filming?
They said there was one when they paused it with the Leela one. I think it was Pete McTighe or somebody said that there was one that was already that they half done. They said there was one more that he was either half written or written. It was along. It wasn't just an idea floating. So they said there was one more that was kind of half done that they would like to finish. Who knows what that.
Yeah, and they hadn't ruled out doing them in the future. They just said it wouldn't be for every single release.
Right.
Okay.
And I suppose when you've got a situation whereby Paul McGann's time is so limited, I think if you were going to celebrate one particular actor with putting the bunting back out again, I suppose it would be the one and only sort of appearance in that range by anything connected to Paul McGann. So again, that quote, an acquaintance of mine worked on this Doctor Who project. There's no black and white about that. This exists. This happened. A mate of mine worked on this Doctor Who project and confirms filming took place at Camber Sands that day. Paul McGann performed in his Guardians of the Edge costume, and the TARDIS was present. Ever professional, my acquaintance refused to spill the beans any further.
Dan, really quickly, maybe I'm reading too much into this. If we parse this out, are they kind of saying that whatever McGann was doing could be basically done in a day?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
So we're not talking like a movie or anything. We're talking something that can be shot in a day.
I think you're bang on with respect to the Blu-ray stuff, Gary, personally.
I don't know. I mean, it's not my speculation. It's just something that other people were referring to, but I don't know.
Camber Sands is a popular destination for dog walkers any time of year. It's that kind of place. It doesn't need to be the heat of the summer for people to go there. It's not remote, is what I'm saying. So they couldn't close this down for several days to film something elaborate. I think you're right. I mean, it's possible this could be connected to an actual episode of Doctor Who, but I'd say the odds are against it. I mean, they have filmed up to a year in advance before Power of the Doctor was actually all locked a full year before it was even broadcast on TV. Effects, location work, everything. But in this instance, I just don't think that's feasible. I don't think it's possible. So I think you're onto something with the fact that it's probably as much as we would all love Paul McGann to be in that special that's coming next Christmas, I think the likely outcome is that it's connected to some satellite project from BBC Studios, either some release that's part of the Doctor Who collection on Blu-ray, or even if it's a Tales from the TARDIS bookend set of scenes to frame some sort of representation of the TV movie that could go up on the iPlayer next year.
Yeah. And like we
And it is the 30th anniversary of it.
I was just about to say, the next year's the time for them to do like a Tales of the TARDIS. Because they could say, look, it's 30 years, we've got McGann, you could sort of make it a big event. But do you know what my other thought is, just in general? We've now got this McGann rumour. We had that AI Tom Baker thing a couple of weeks ago. Isn't it telling? Isn't it so sort of, you can't deny the failure right now anymore, I feel, that the fans are sort of going to every classic Doctor they can to try and say, what if they're in this special? Nobody's talking about the stuff we've all guessed is probably going to be there, which is Billy, which is probably a Tennant cameo. Nobody seems interested in that.
And Charlotte, look at the fact that, and look at the fact, Charlotte, that for the Children in Need, they bring back Sophie Aldred as Ace.
Yeah, it's we've said this before, but I just think we're getting more and more actual evidence now that classic is keeping this brand alive right now. That's the beating heart of Doctor Who. It's the classic actors, it's the classic companions, it's the classic stories, and that's what the fans' sort of hearts and excitement is. It's not
classic and Matt
Russell
Smith
and his crew are doing.
Yeah, classic and Matt Smith, because that's what BBC are putting on at the moment.
If I've got a preference, it would be for something connected with the 30th anniversary of the TV movie. I think that, we do celebrate this a lot. It's been released multiple times. But I personally can't see any point in some box set of the Wilderness Years. I want those to stick to season-by-season presentations. If anything that came out whilst the series wasn't in production is to be released, I'd rather it come out in some sort of either alternative form or included as features somewhere. I don't know, but I've got no interest at all in some sort of ham-fisted wilderness box set that reduces the TV movie to some sort of second feature. If the TV movie is coming out again, this should come out with all of the bells and the whistles, in my opinion, that any full season should. And what I would like to see happen would be, as part of the Doctor Who collection on Blu-ray, for next May, for the TV movie's 30th anniversary, I'd like to see some hard-boxed Blu-ray re-release of the TV movie where they throw literally everything at it. Maybe they get those rushes back from, is it Universal or Fox who's got them? They've never let them have them before. Maybe they've negotiated some of that material so they could produce some sort of 3-disc set that just concentrates on the TV movie, includes both versions, like the ones with all the violence snipped, everything, just the ultimate edition of this TV movie, treat it as a boutique release, the way that movies, the kind of things do, Gary, that turn up on 4K. That's what I'd like to see. And obviously, ideally, that would involve some sort of new involvement from Paul McGann in some way, ideally in character, to bookend one of those fabulous trailers that you were just discussing. So that's my preference.
You know what? The only response I have to that is take my money. You know, it's like I would be, I'd be buying that like about 30 seconds after I saw it.
Just imagine one of those hard box cases.
I mean, and I hope that they would get, you know, Daphne Ashbrook involved in this too, because, you know, I've seen her a couple, 3 times a few years ago at Gallifrey One, and she's absolutely wonderful. I mean, she's a great guest. You know, I talked to her a couple times on autograph lines. She's just fantastic. So hopefully, you know, they'll be able to get her involved in whatever they're they're doing for this.
I'd like to think so. If that hasn't captured your imagination, I know that Clogknackers definitely has. Clogknackers is becoming a thing, David,
Yeah.
and it's all entirely your fault. Boomer
It is.
Doug is in the live chat. We've got a lot of comments here in the live chat responding to this. So Boomer Doug says this may be totally made up, but I also heard a report that McGann was filming in his Night of the Doctor costume. Yes, that's the story we've just been talking about. You're absolutely right. Richard says, don't we think Russell T Davies and co would screw up the 8th Doctor also? Leave him alone, please. Yeah, but we have to, I think that's something that, yes, of course, it's a thing, but we can't it's not something we can say constantly every week all the time. I think we take that as a given now. We all feel exactly the same way about Russell T Davies. He's been a huge disappointment, but I think we can take it as read that we'd all rather he not be there. It's not something, a disclaimer we need to put out there every time we talk about a news story is what I'm saying there, Richard. But of course, I understand what you mean. Run, Dr. 8, run, says Richard Brooks. Don't go near Bad Wolf, Paul. They're bad news, says Matthew Pounder. But Stephen Braddock says, I'd much rather see McGann back than David Tennant yet again. David, that's how I feel. And I used to, all joking apart, I'm not terribly fond of David Tennant, the personality, but as an actor, I've been a massive fan of a lot of the things he's done, but I'm so bored with them wheeling that guy out.
It's sort of like almost, the sort of celebrity that will go to the opening of an envelope.
It's getting that way.
It's getting a bit that way with Doctor Who for David, and please just leave it well alone. I know we all know it's going to be a Tennant and Billy thing. We all know that it's going to be a retread of the last 20 years since the revival started, and it's up to Russell to prove us wrong. And I hope he does.
Okay.
Here's Stephen O'Neill says, Gary, didn't they say in the god-awful Doctor Who finale that the Doctor's timeline is out of order and affects his earlier incarnations? So maybe he's coming back for a special guest. I don't remember that being said at all. But then again, I think I've blanked a lot of that out in the way that some people did the Vietnam War.
Stephen, I'll take your word for it because I am never going to go back to rewatch it again to see if you're accurate or not. Here's what I'm thinking, Dan. I love your idea about a total bells and whistles, everything all in 30th anniversary super deluxe thing. Can you imagine, just like we've gotten, I know that it wouldn't be like part of a collection thing, but like for the collections, they gin up the excitement with the Leela trailer, which gets you all excited for the thing. Yes. Can you imagine if what they're doing, it's not a collection set, Dan, but like you said, a totally all out 30th anniversary thing, but he's still filming a special trailer for it, sitting at the beach, reflecting on when he first regenerated into this form and everything that's happened since then, even if it's like a 3-minute thing, but it's still a trailer for a release, not a collection release, but a 30th anniversary release. And this is the trailer for that. That would fit as well.
Well, and here's the other thing. They've seen how well the Doctor Who and the Daleks releases have done, how the Peter Cushing movies have had, like you said, Dan, these very lavish, these gorgeous sort of, you get the film, but you get like artwork, you get books about it, like it's this all-encompassing thing. And if you can get that much excitement from something that for years fans some of them weren't considering it canon, weren't even considering a part of Doctor Who. So if you can do that for the Peter Cushing, I think you could do that even more with a McGann.
Yeah,
like you said, 30th
people would love it.
Edition.
I mean, a couple of people in the live chat are saying, "Oh, we've had Billy for clicks, now Paul McGann for clicks." This is different. There was no appetite for Billy to come back, particularly in that way. There's always this appetite for Paul McGann. I think you're right, Charlotte. I think anybody who pays even the tiniest bit of attention to the fandom will be able to see two things, join two dots. He lost everybody with that Billy Piper stunt. Everyone, to the point where the Dead Ringers guys ripped the piss, and they're on the BBC as well. He lost us all with that. The way to bring back as many of us as possible. Obviously, you're never going to please everyone. There must be somebody out there who doesn't like Paul McGann. I've never found them, but there must be somebody. He's so universally popular. It's not a clicks thing. It's eyes on screen. It's an instant win.
Well, and also, if you think about the people who are watching, that was my other thought with that sort of comment. It's not the 20-somethings watching Doctor Who. It's not the kids watching Doctor Who right now. It's us lot. It's the long-term fans who have got that love for McGann. We're the ones who, if we heard that, I think some of the older fan base would probably go, I might give it a look. Like, I think it's the one sort of card they could possibly have, like you said, just to get people back, even if it's just for a special, and use McGann because he's the sort of the standard bearer for the old fans, I think, right now, and that's the people that are watching.
Yeah,
and he's the most
Matthew
physically
Pounder.
capable as well. Sorry,
Matthew
Dan.
Pounder mentions in the live chat here, Paul McGann wasn't in the classic series. No, he wasn't. But the TV movie is considered part of the classic series
right.
by default. And I think that's perfectly appropriate, perfectly reasonable. I have never had a problem with that. Eggsy Trek Jedi's in the live chat. Hello, Whovians from America. Whovians? Oh, go on. We'll let that fly just this once. Hello, Eggsy. Good to see you. And lots more speculation too in the live chat. We've captured people's imaginations, I think. But it's difficult to put together a list of our sort of things we want and things we don't about this special, because I think we're more disenfranchised than ever. We know we're getting Billy Piper, and nobody's happy about that. Could we get Paul McGann? I think this would delight a lot of people. Could they bring Carol Ann Ford back to tie up all those loose ends? Maybe. Could David Tennant turn up again? I don't think anybody really wants that, DT. Sorry, mate. But Paul McGann, back of the net. That would put a smile back on most Doctor Who fans' faces and would guarantee even the most cynical of us would turn up, I feel. Let us know what you think. Would it be appropriate to seeing as it would be Paul McGann's own 30th anniversary year of slogging it out here in the Doctor Who fandom with us? I think there's something full circle about that, David. I like the poetry of this. What do you think?
I love the poetry of it, and I think I've said before on a stream, but from when we were reviewing the last series that transmitted, that why doesn't Russell get hold of a Big Finish and say, can I do that sort of post Dalek Invasion of Earth story with Susan, when he visits Susan and she sends out a distress call and he monitors it? And do you know what? That would be a great sort of way to sort of do it. And that means we avoid David Tennant or anything like that. We have to negotiate the Billy issue, the Billy thing. But do you know what? Why not use a successful script that has worked so well on audio, adapt it for TV as your last story to bridge the gap, so to speak? Which then means that if you want to use the Susan character and hand it over to your successor, assuming it's still going to be with Bad Wolf, as they've got the contract until 2029, you can then hand it over and go to do the planned season 3, but by a different writer under the same structure.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm sure it'll all make sense when we look back on this in 18 months, 2 years' time. We'll be going, oh yeah, that was that.
Yeah,
and that's where that came. Oh God, of course. I don't know. We've probably only got ourselves to blame, haven't we, Paul? But let us know what you think about all of that, our various theories and those sightings too of Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor. Happy birthday again, Paul, for last week. He's subscribed, by the way, everybody. We watched him do it, so we know he's subscribed. Okay. We'll leave that there. Let us know what you think in the comments, as always. Now, we're sticking with the late 90s, actually, for the Type 40 Live Doctor Who ad break this time. Because when Doctor Who was off the telly, so were the ads. So, for a touch of the wilderness flavour, I thought we'd look and see what the brand was doing during that precise time, after the TV movie and before Doctor Who came back. This is going to be a blast from the past for a lot of you physical media collectors. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
Presenting a new dimension of adventures for Doctor Who from BBC Worldwide in books
Interesting stuff, isn't it?
and on video and on audio
Right, far away, I'm ready.
for his many fans. A new range of books featuring doctors from the past. The First Doctor,
We are wanderers in the fourth dimension of space and time.
the Second Doctor,
I imagine you have orders to destroy me.
the Third,
Why should I want to talk to a machine?
the Fourth,
Is no one interested in history?
the Fifth,
I should have realized.
the Sixth,
This looks familiar.
and the Seventh Doctor.
What's the time?
Time for a new range of novels featuring the Eighth Doctor. Encountering many foes and friends from the past. And who knows what lurks around the corner.
Hello.
On audio. And on video. A new dimension of adventures for Doctor Who. Only from BBC Worldwide.
Hello, welcome back to Type 40 Live on Rumble X, YouTube, and Facebook. As ever, we're all back and raring to go with some more. How are you holding up so far? Has all of that stimulated your interest and got your appetites stirred for what could be about to come next? If that doesn't, maybe this will. All our yesterdays, I think, well, if you're of a particular age, all the way back in 1983. Another thing that when the nights start to get this cold, my mind does turn back to things like the Five Doctors, the Five Faces of Doctor Who, all of those things from such an exciting time to be a Doctor Who fan. I haven't watched the Five Doctors this year yet, but I may need to do that, Gary. I may need to get it in before Christmas because there is something Christmassy about this, I think. In that period between November the 25th, when it was broadcast in 1983, and that Christmas, I'd videoed it. I think I must have watched it about a dozen times just in that 4-week period.
Yeah, that's one of the stories that really I don't think you can really ever see enough. You know, it's kind of like, you know, watching. I mean, I've seen the Charlie Brown Christmas a million times, but I still pop it on and watch it every year. And this is the same thing. It just kind of, you know, you curl up, put a blanket around you, and you know, just it's a perfect story for that.
So, is this similar for you, David?
It is, yeah. And can I just ask a question? Now, do you watch the original version or the extended one? Because I became with the first Doctor Who release on DVD being the Five Doctors, they presented the extended version, and I've actually got a bit of a guilty pleasure for the extended version of the Five Doctors. And
yes, I do.
I like the extended version. So actually, over the years, my preferred version of the Five Doctors became the extended version. And now it's a bit of a jolt when I watch the original version, if you know what I mean. Because
bits that you got used to, that they put back in for that release, they are missing when you go and watch the broadcast one. My go-to version is still the broadcast one. Just seen it too many times. But I do like the special edition. And the one that they put out a couple of years ago as well. I think that's good. Generally speaking, I think the Five Doctors has sort of fared quite well from the various tinkering that's been done to it. And I don't think it's ever been too much. Stephen O'Neill says, I had every Doctor Who story BBC Worldwide released on VHS, then sold them to help pay for the DVD versions. But Funky is going to watch the 5 Doctors this weekend. I think a lot of people do. It's one of those things that we sort
I
of
love it.
get in at this time of year.
Yeah.
Which version, though? You're quite right. He's got me thinking now, Gary. I'm not quite sure which one to go for.
Well, you just watch them all in a row. You watch they're like 4. What are there, like 4 versions now? 5? How many were on the
3,
How many were on the season 20 set? Wasn't there like
people do
3 or
things
4?
like that? I was talking to Matt Pott about this because I think he bought a foreign language film quite recently, and he said there was 4 or 5 different versions of this film on that disc. I think it was Japanese or something. He said, "Oh, I'll watch them all." okay, go for it.
Yeah,
but different strokes, different folks.
You know, speaking of the VHS though, I've always thought they've really missed a trick, because I know I'd buy it. That I think that they should release like a really nice art book of all those VHS covers, because those VHS covers were really nice, and I would absolutely buy like a nice hardbound art book with all of that VHS art. I don't know why they never did that.
Well, friend of the show, Colin Howard, he's put out his own book, which does include a good amount of them. But they don't get treated with the reverence that the Target book covers do. And I think that that's unfair. Maybe that's because they changed the look of them so drastically after the TV movie to include those sort of photo montages, which I know Target did on the books for a little while, but they stopped doing it almost as soon as they started, didn't they?
They did that initially with the Davison ones, right? Because
that's right.
I think the first couple of years, and Castrovalva, Fort of Doomsday, all those early Davison Targets had all photo covers.
Got a comment here from Chris Chatfield who says there are some amazing VHS covers out there. I adore the Frontier in Space. Well, that's a Colin Howard one. The Dalek on that is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, most of them. I love most of them. I could talk about the VHS range all night. Maybe we should do a VHS special.
I have that Colin Howard book. I would just love a book with everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. There are books, there are various collectibles that are being listed and being released as we speak in the run up to Christmas. Of course there are. We'll be talking about some of those between now and then. Don't you worry about that. But in the meantime, we have Doctor Who Day to enjoy. All of us, everybody. Is this getting old yet? Is anybody fed up of Doctor Who Day yet? It seems to come around quicker every year. A bit like my birthday.
Oh yeah, you sort of think, oh, was it last year? I think I have that thought every single one now.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I love Doctor Who Day.
You love it, do you, David? So the Star Beast didn't ruin it for you, or anything else, any of the other atrocities that have been done in its name?
No, because we've got a back catalogue of 62 years. So if you take away the 2 years, okay, we've still got a back catalogue of 60 years. If you take away the Jodie years, we've still got a back catalogue of 54 years. Yep. So what I did is what I am planning to do is you remember those machines you could get that you could tape a VHS onto a hard disk drive and then burn a DVD-R of it.
Remember it? I've still got mine.
Yeah, so have I. So what I've got is when they released the 10th Planet on VHS, I did a copy of that onto a DVD-R. And so I'm planning on watching the 10th Planet, the VHS, because even with the telesnaps and the bits of remaining film that they had, I still prefer that episode 4 edition to the animated one. So for me, that is the ultimate 10th Planet that we have available. So I'm planning on watching the 10th Planet, as well as the 5 Doctors, obviously, the extended version, because I love that program.
We've all got our little ways and rituals, haven't we?
Yeah.
This is quite revealing, isn't it, Charlotte?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, we can make what we want of it, and we've all got doctors or stories that resonate with us. So my thing is usually, you won't be surprised, I find a Matt episode, usually one that I haven't watched in a while because I don't like to watch the same sort of episodes all the time. So I have a couple which I really love, but they're not instant ones that come to mind. So I like to find like an underrated Matt is what I tend to do. I watch at least one of his stories on the day.
How about you, Gary? Have you got any rituals?
For Doctor Who Day, usually a classic, one that it's been a long time that I've seen. I mean, usually it probably more than likely like a Pertwee. I'll do like one longer one mixed with like say like a 3-episode McCoy one, so that to get more than one. But yeah, it's always going to classic.
So you can get 2 stories in one day. Every trick in the book. How about that?
I love Death of the Daleks. I love it. Oh, that is my go-to guilty pleasure. Death to the Daleks. I love it. It's just a wonderful story.
Of course, it's all well and good that we have to make our own sort of entertainment and amusement and be resourceful and creative with everything that we have. There's enough material, just as you said, David. But obviously, we don't own Doctor Who. The BBC do. BBC Studios and Bad Wolf are responsible for it. So I wondered, what is the official Doctor Who partners? What are they teaming up on to bring us for this Doctor Who Day, if anything at all? 62 years isn't anything special, but I think when you get up to those sort of big numbers, they're all kind of important. The fandom's had a really rough couple of years. I think a lot of us, yes, we've been very vocal, but when aren't we? We've still stuck in there, watching the series, propping it up as best we can. I figured they would owe us something. So I've been and had a look. And what I found is, well, it's definitely something. I say, okay, so coming up first of all, from the official Doctor Who accounts, is this. So it's all geared around a global interactive digital event, which they've called Vorp Around the World, a TARDIS treasure hunt with lots of different component parts, 5 virtual missions that are kind of like a scavenger hunt. And fans have got to log into the Unit HQ section of the official Doctor Who website to sort of solve these clues and reveal real-world locations to them that can sort of take them further along in this game. This doesn't remotely appeal to me in any way. But has anybody even heard of this? Because this has totally passed me by. I don't know if people are out there enjoying this and talking about it, but I haven't seen anybody mention it yet. Have you, Charlotte?
I think maybe it got mentioned a tiny bit at Comic-Con because they had that whole Black Archive thing with Unit, didn't they?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, beyond that, it's not been a big push at all for this marketing-wise. I've not seen anybody talk about like, oh, I'm going to have to log in and find. And here's the thing, like these they're called ARGs, I think that's the term, where like it's real life and you have to find a location and then it's like they said, the scavenger hunt.
Like Pokemon Go?
Yeah, like that sort of thing. But the thing is, they work best when you've got a really sort of healthy and captive and really big brand that's basically like a Pokemon or like some other things that have done this. And I just don't think right now Doctor Who's in the right spot to do one of these kind of real life treasure hunts.
And for all the time that you're going to spend playing something like this, Gary, the reward has got to be bountiful.
Yes, I was just wondering.
That you savour. And what's on offer are deleted scenes and unseen versions of scripts from season 2. So the first 3 missions are already up and live. There's another couple to come, but you've got to log in with a BBC account to access them. I mean, I don't know if this would be accessible to you, Gary. I mean, are you devastated about this news?
Well, my first thought is, considering how completely lax the security is of the current unit, I'm surprised that we have to go in and actually sign in to get access. I'm going to spend however many hours trying to find, I guess, what did you say? Like find the TARDIS or something? And the reward for all of that is a season 2 script.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if the reward was like a digital version of a missing episode, now we're talking. But a season 2 script, so basically it's like I'm going to spend all day hunting around the world for the TARDIS, and at the end I get a download script for Rogue. It's like, no, I don't think so.
But what do you think, David? Is because Pokemon Go was like 10, 12 years ago now. These things have obviously taken off to some extent. Is this just a young person's thing, or for people who just live through their phones? Would they love something like this? And I'm just an old fart. What's your take?
I don't think you're an old fart. I just think that the brand, it depends where the brand is at the time, as Charlotte quite rightly said. If you've got a really successful brand that's captured a lot of people, and it becomes an event, if you see what I mean, like the kids going out hunting for Pokemons and stuff like that. I don't think Doctor Who is in the right place at the moment for people to engage in that, especially if the reward is something related to the past 2 seasons. If it was related to across the 62 years of the show,
there you go, then
I could see more individuals doing it as a bit of a laugh, particularly if the weather's not great on Sunday. Which it isn't forecasted to be. It's forecasted to be heavy rain again and a bit windy. Right. So if the circumstances were different, but if all you've got on offer is a deleted scene from Rogue or a script from Rogue, and you've got plenty of toilet paper in, then I don't see the benefit to that. But if they'd made, as I said, if they'd made it across the platform of the history of the program, then you could really luck out and get a script from Rogue, or you could really luck in and get a script from Pyramid of Mars.
There you go.
Okay, or a cheeky little deleted scene from City of Death where Tom's having an exchange with John Cleese. Something like that. So it seems that the market is just for the last 2 years, which hasn't been the most successful. And so this to me says bit of a misstep, bit of a misfire yet again.
And in all seriousness, all kidding aside, does it strike any of you that it seems like the game is designed for the people who live on their phones, the TikTok, whatever, who can go in. They're designing these. I don't know what you call them, like promotions, whatever, for audiences that aren't watching the show. So what is the point?
Yeah, I can remember with Jodie's last series, put the Flux stuff. A major part of the promotion was, we'll take our Twitter down for a couple of hours. And it was like, really, that's the base that you're trying to aim for with the current fans that are watching. It's not going to be people on Twitter. And that was legitimately a massive marketing push. We'll mess with the YouTube channel for a couple of hours.
It's like they're going to the trouble of designing these intricate things, but it feels like they're not asking like the first question you should ask, which is what audience are we targeting with this promotion? And it seems like they designed the promotion without ever thinking of that.
Okay, so if you're not terribly stimulated by that, you want to hear some more? Yeah, sort of. I think he wants to hear some more. So, there is more. A 24-hour YouTube live stream. Get this, a full day of streaming on the official Doctor Who YouTube channel, featuring content from every era of the show, hosted by content creator Crystal D. There, Charlotte. How about that?
Well, they have been doing these sort of live streams of clips, haven't they? A lot, and I think I think every year they do something on Doctor Who Day. To be fair, and that's the thing is about that. If the chat's fun, that could be a fun thing to do for a little bit. Just being with fans, chatting about episodes, watching old episodes. That's what we said we do anyway on the day. So this could be all right.
Fair enough.
To be fair.
I mean, you know, and Dan knows that a 24-hour Type 40 live stream is something I've been advocating for a long time. So I actually think that could be a very interesting experience.
Yeah, I'll be
4 a.m. in
there
the
for
morning.
about 5 hours and then I have to go to bed.
I was just wondering, have they pre-recorded all of Crystal D's bits in between whatever they're going to be showing?
Oh, yeah.
She's
So
not
the
going to
poor
be up
woman-
at 3 a.m. live talking about Doctor Who. Come on.
Like Type 40 after hours. I'd love to be part of that. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so we're not terribly convinced by that either, but you know, you might show your face for 10 minutes. Exclusive season 2 scripts and additional deleted scenes are being released on the official Doctor Who website too. Any takers for that?
Wait, so I can see, and I'm being serious. I'm not joking here. So they're releasing what I can just log on to the website and see without going through the whole game thing.
I think there must be different
Basically.
components.
Wow. Okay.
I think. At least it's not 24 hours of Shutigatwa, says Stephen.
He didn't make 24 hours of content.
He didn't make it. He didn't make it. More like 16.
Chris Chatfield says Crystal D should be the next Doctor because of her Peter Capaldi 12th Doctor cosplay. Well, that doesn't mean she's an actress. It means she's a cosplayer. Chris, come on. Yes, so lots of season 2 content, it seems, that was left in the bottom of the drawer, which they are obviously not going to be able to repurpose now. I would say that's probably where all this is coming from, Charlotte. And they've already put out their DVD and Blu-ray. They rushed that out without stocking it with much else besides. They seem to think that it's more marketable to use that material now on guff like this and as part of sort of silly games online than put out an all bells and whistles release on physical media now. I suppose that could be a sign of the times too.
Well, to be honest, what would they do? Like the series is done. We're in a massive limbo right now, story-wise. Actually, they've still not confirmed if Billy's the Doctor, for God's sake, which I still find is slightly ridiculous at this point. Like, there's nothing they can do, bar, just like you said, these little bits that they've got left that probably weren't good enough to go on the DVD.
I can sense you're not won over by this campaign particularly, but there is something I think that may well swing it for you. So how about this? A dedicated episode of the online show, the Huniverse show, released as part of the festivities, again hosted by Crystal D.
She's busy, isn't she, that day?
No takers.
This is like, you know, one of those Twilight Zone episodes where like you go to a party, but for some reason you can't leave. You know, you want to get out, but you just can't.
I won't be dark on Crystal D because I think, you know, if we were offered these gigs, we'd probably all do it. But it does. Do they not know anybody else? I mean, where's Toby? Toby Haydock, or I don't know. Where is everybody else?
My guess is that this episode of the Huniverse show is going to give only just the most passing nod to classic Who, probably.
Yeah. I just want to throw in the towel. There you go.
Now, I will say that in terms of like that, we've been kind of scoffing at the whole script thing.
Speak for yourself. I'm taking this terribly seriously, Gary Akers.
I would know, and I am about to make a serious statement. I actually think that the only script I would conceivably be interested in is the original draft of the Reality War before they made the changes. That's the only script that I would conceivably be.
Everybody would read that in the fan.
Interested in.
Quite right. Yeah. Never going to happen, is it?
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Never going to happen. No, no. Yes, so that's the Huniverse show. Back, they're 3 or 4 episodes deep into this. I did intend on watching these. You know, we were kind to it here because I see what they're trying to do. I think they're coming from the right place for the most part. But when I saw that the second one was hosted by a frigging drag queen, I thought, just no, I'm done. I'm done. So I might take a look at this one for Doctor Who Day. Yeah, give it another shot. But
It's got Marilyn
yeah.
Manson in it, I think, or it's presented by Marilyn Manson, or the ghost of a heavy metal superstar or something.
I saw the first sort of 3 minutes of it, and there's some tosser stood there cosplaying as a drag queen version of the Fugitive Doctor. I mean, the Fugitive Doctor's bad enough in and of itself. How can you make it worse? By having a drag queen version. Well done. You know, it's just an exercise in how to make Doctor Who worse, just when you couldn't think it could get any worse. So yeah, I turned that off pretty quickly. If people out there are enjoying it, they're welcome to it. And I will give it another go because I think in the spirit of the unity of Doctor Who Day, this is fine. And I think they should persevere with this because I think it's a strong enough idea. But drag queens, I'll say this again, drag queens, anywhere near Doctor Who at all, it's not appropriate. Never mind that they should be fucking present everywhere across culture. It's getting ridiculous. Please stop it. So yes, the Huniverse show, hosted thankfully by Crystal D instead.
You'll have to let us know how it is, Dan. Well, I mean, in all, but doesn't this feel that all of this, like, they're not even really kind of bothering trying to program to the wider audience anymore, that it's just become once again like a totally niche thing?
I'd hope that the Huniverse show would offer some sort of showcase for not just the series itself, but that kind of the wonder of everything, of the expanded media, life as a Doctor Who fan, because that's what the Huniverse is. So I would hope if that's, say, 20 minutes, I think the others are 20 minutes, they've been imaginative with that and they've been properly inclusive with that, not just including people who say they're one of 50 million genders, but actually real people, multiple generations of people all over the world who love this show. That's what I'd like to see the Huniverse show become. And now would be an ideal time. They're clearly going to persevere with it, and I think they should. But now is the time to really become what they've set out their stall to be. And I think Crystal D is a perfectly fine person to represent that. But I think that they should ideally speak to more people, really people who are actually fans, rather than idiots and chancers of some whatever fad is in broader media, looking to make a few quid. That's the difference, I think.
To be honest, Gary, I think the announcements that are going to get the more wider fan base are not going to be official. I think it's going to be sources outside of the BBC. I would not be surprised, and this is just a prediction, folks, that we might hear some more about missing episodes, is my hope, because film is fabulous.
Oh, you mean on the day?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because
there's a proportion of the fandom, and this is where things are dangerous, the kind of speculation that it's kind of dangerous with a small d to get into. People within the fandom, a section of them, have convinced themselves that film is fabulous, owe us some sort of announcement or information come Sunday. And that's, in my view, I understand the appetite, the hunger to know more, but I think that's putting an unfair amount of pressure on film is fabulous.
To be honest,
I see how we've got there, but
even if it's just an update, I can see them, even if it's just giving a bit of an update again. Just, I'm not saying I'm not fully expecting a full blown, here's a list, folks, and here's every...
People are expecting announcements on the day, and I think that's unfair.
But I think with it being Doctor Who Day, and we said this on our stream, the people behind that search and the people working with it clearly care a lot about this show. They care about the legacy. They know how important it is. So I'm just saying, if there's any chance of an update, and that's probably the better way I'll say, they're not an announcement, but an update, I can see why there's a possibility we could get something on Sunday, but I agree with you, Dan. We shouldn't expect anything. We should just see what happens.
Obviously, there's a link to Film is Fabulous in the description as well. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are sort of hoping. And yeah, I mean, when you look to what the BBC have in mind, what they view as appropriate and all-encompassing and something for everyone, it's pretty thin on the ground. I mean, they round it out by saying in their press release that their various official social media channels are going to be encouraging conversation and fan unity on the day, and they want people to get involved, whichever platform it is you use, and simply use the hashtag Doctor Who Day, and you can get involved with there and get into the swim and the feed and see what official may turn up, or from whoever, wherever, whether it's the fandom or external publishers. But of course, there is a drawback to that. You know, if you're one of the many accounts that BBC Doctor Who has blocked over on those platforms, again, that doesn't really speak much of fan unity and joining the conversation if some people are excluded simply because they voiced a strident opinion. Now, does it? So we'll see. I mean, who will be pleased by any of that? I don't know. Let us know what you think, as always, in the comments. But yeah, I think it's going to be very much what we make of it, isn't it? Particularly when there's no Doctor Who being filmed and not much in the way of actual news. Yeah, you know, we are a resourceful and creative fan base, and we talk about this. We talk about this all the time, and there's a lot of material there. You know, it's not like we're, I don't know, Star Cops fans who've got 9 episodes to rewatch over and over again, or even Blake 7, where there's just the 52. There's a lot of content we can go back to. So that's the good news. But if Doctor Who is alive and well in 2025, going into 2026, yeah, I think we'd like a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if this is cynical as well. What worries me a little, David, is these games and things that rely not necessarily just on one opening an account and logging in, but giving them your location. I don't know. It just seems to me that this fandom that the show has generated, this devotion that it's promoted, they're now using it through those unit mission things to harvest data, further data from people.
Yeah.
And I feel
Big
a little.
Brother is watching you.
I do, yeah. I don't know if that's just me. You know, I've never been one for conspiracy theories as such, but I do think that's a bit of a concern. Why are they doing that? What are they getting out of it? And I think they're getting your data.
Yeah, and I think that's another concern is that you have to have a BBC account to register, so they could harvest your data, harvest your IP address. They could falsely claim that you need a TV license with follow-up communications when you may actually don't need one. And it's just a little bit. I hate to be all conspiracy theorist because I'm not that sort of individual. But you're absolutely right. They harvest data. You know. And for me, those games should be available without having to log into the BBC network, just like the BBC News channels are. Yeah, it's just so tiresome and exhausting. And to me, I won't be going anywhere near it because
I wonder if
it doesn't interest me.
I wonder if you input like a wrong guess on the game, if you get one of those BBC Doctor Who has blocked you. It's like you only get one chance to make the right guess.
Big Russell is watching you, says Matthew Pounder. Hi, Russell. Evening, mate. Hope you're well. Stephen, how could you? I am shocked, says Chris Chatfield. I don't know what's going on in the live chat there on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Whoever you are, wherever you are, for whom the bell toll, and the bell is sure ringing loud, says Jess Corbin. Yeah.
Bit of
Stephen
literature
O'Neill.
there.
Yeah, I don't know what Jesse's talking about. I'll give the unit thing a miss, says Stephen O'Neill. And it's lots of those kind of. I think people are lukewarm to this. Would be
Especially if there's some wooden Kate Stewart guiding you through the task in hand as well.
You never know. He might be a boyfriend. Maybe he's been given a job finally.
Sexy fun time boy.
Yeah.
There's only one upcoming Doctor Who event that I'm really kind of looking forward to, and that's our friend Philip Roy and his Scorpion film. That is the only Doctor Who thing I'm really looking forward to.
Philip is in the live chat still. He says that film is fabulous, are announcing they've buried a lost Tuesday Gator episode.
Well done, Phil.
Yeah. No, okay, all right. Seriously, Philip, that would be now. Here's that if the prize on the scavenger hunt was that you get to choose which Gatwa episode will be permanently deleted forever. I would play that game.
Oh yeah,
that's a
Don't
future
give
show,
us hope.
I think. Some great comments in the live chat. Thank you everybody. Huniverse is an awful concept, says Farsight. You said that literally on the last show. Who
I like
are
the
you?
concept.
Says Richard Brooks. That doesn't sound like Disney. It sounds more like Mission Impossible, says Rose Kirby. Disney are long gone. They've checked out a long time ago. Rogue, without a doubt, to be the one should be buried, but it says Phil.
I would agree. That would be
Absolutely. Yeah, so Doctor Who may be off screen for the time being, but we can make it through, everybody, with a bit of imagination and patience and resourcefulness and camaraderie, I think. So yes, it's just over a year until Doctor Who's back with that Christmas special. That's the good news. It is coming back. Bad news is it's written by Russell T Davies again. So got a little bit of a wait for that. We should start seeing and hearing more, I think, around February, March time. So we shall see. Of course, The War Between the Land and the Sea launches in just a couple of weeks' time. BBC iPlayer and BBC One in the UK in December, and then exclusively on Disney Plus outside of the UK again next year. And there's that trimmed down and recut, re-edited, and with the sound messed around with as well. Version of the Sea Devils coming up too on the same day. You'll get our takes on all of that. Of course you will. Don't think we're going to be found wanting there. Doctor Who Day is this coming Sunday, the 23rd of November, 2025. And just as they say, use the hashtag Doctor Who Day if you want to take part. And the BBC will sort of log it all somehow, and we'll see what turns up. Let us know if they've got you covered with that list of goodies. And if not, why not? What are you up for? Or where have you jumped ship? Happy Doctor Who Day, everybody.
The universe is in peril. We've got about 24 hours until it completely is destroyed. The only way you can help me save it is by watching Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast. I'll see you there.
I love that.
In time, it's pumpkin time, says Susan.
Pumpkin time.
We need a theme. We need a theme for that, Dan. We need music and some graphics for when it's.
Yeah, you don't want me singing it.
Hanna-Barbera style.
Too much. I dread to think what Dan would come up with, but I do need to go.
Good to see you, Charlotte. We'll catch up with you in a couple of days' time, which we can't talk about for the time being, but there will be more. Until then, keep warm, and we'll speak to you later.
I will see you all soon. That's all I'll say. Good night.
Take care.
She's heading over to the movie theater now to see Wicked 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's Wicked weekend, isn't it? I'd forgotten about that. Yes. How could I forget? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Okay, thank you, everybody, for sticking with us through that lot. I mean, there must be something for someone in there somewhere, I'd like to think. maybe not. You can vent with us in the comments as always, or come and say hello on our social medias, Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who as ever. And we will be providing rolling conversations, not just on Doctor Who Day, but on every day of every year, because every day is sort of Doctor Who Day, isn't it? When you're a member of the Type 40 Facebook group, go and join up there. Yep. Get stuck in and see if you can start a fight if you like, and have fun. Send us some feedback about all of that and all of this through SpeakPipe 2. Suggestions, predictions, your rants and your raves are perfectly fine. Constructive criticism is always appreciated. And you can be part of the show by sending us your feedback. The link is in the description. As ever, jump into the playlists to relive some of our greatest hits. And lowest indignities there in the previous editions of this very show. Type 40 Live there, over 260 of these. So our regular news shows, our deep dives, our Ask Us Anything shows, and everything else you could possibly imagine. It's all waiting for you to dive into once again. And head over to the Type 40 feed, to our home feed, type40.podbean.com, for all the latest podcasts and our back catalogue to whichever podcatcher you use, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or Audible. We're right there. We've got you covered. Get loaded up and jam us in your ears in the nicest possible way. Or to bide that time until Doctor Who Day, until something is revealed by the BBC. You never know. You never know. And if not, there's that 24 hours of Crystal showing you various clips on the official YouTube channel to enjoy. And what's not to love? They'll be lining up, Gary. They'll be riveted, won't they, to the screens?
Now, are those going to be like full episodes or full stories, or is it mostly just going to be like cuts and clips and things?
Who cares? I don't know. I have no idea. It could be anything, because they do, in all fairness, they do that, don't they? They have screened entire stories and then they delete them the following day. I think they put up Genesis of the Daleks.
What was it that you showed us a few weeks ago about what they did back for that one special day, like back in the 80s on that one stage, like Doctor Who Night or Doctor Who Day? Remember you showed us that? Yeah. You went over to a friend's house to watch it. That's and right. All those special like interstitial stuff, which I would love to see like all of.
Yeah. BSB.
BSB. I'm just wondering if it was going to be something like that.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if they did do that, but I think the times we live in now, David, they would never do something like that for free, for a free platform like that. I mean, and this is no slight on Crystal D, but I would imagine that getting one person to do some sort of talking head stuff, much in the same way that content creators do all the time. I noticed they billed her as a content creator and not a presenter for the purposes of that. It's because they want her now to be seen as one of us and one of you, as a content creator, just like you. So I suspect that she'll be front-facing the camera, talking a little. She's very good at what she does, and that would be fine. But I think for the stuff that you're talking about, Gary, years ago they would have put stuff like that on the telly or maybe on the red button for free. Now they would monetize that material. It would be somewhere behind either a paywall or something you've got to enter your data into a website. There'd be something transactional about it. Would be my instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. There would be, and they'd just try and flog it, and which is just a shame. And I'd much rather have one of the actors involved with the program doing those talking head bits, because I think they would get people invested into it. And I think for Doctor Who Day, it would be a nice touch as well. Sophie Aldred, you could have Freema Agyeman, you could have somebody that's a former companion, John Bishop, even Bradley Walsh, just do little links
and make a change. That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah. I'm not saying that Crystal shouldn't be there. I think she probably. I understand why she's there, although she has been in that role for quite a long time, off and on. So, but fair enough. But it would be good if they partner her up. And I think the guy who hosts the Huniverse show I think he's fine as well. But I think it would work better. To me, they're very similar people. I mean, I know that sounds silly because one of them is like a 6 foot tall black guy, and she's this little woman with spiky hair. But I think they're very animated people, roughly the same age, with a lot of the same tastes and experiences within their fandom journey. I think if they had either an actor in it, or I don't want to keep mentioning Toby, but there are probably others as well. But someone like Toby, who is the other end of the age scale, or bring in somebody from the States or Australia, or like you say, I think that Bradley Walsh doing something like that would be great.
Yeah.
People who have a spark of something, but are just, as you say, from in front of the camera would be really cool.
And I would think they're probably going to do a fair amount of promotion for the spin-off too.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Having said that, how much of that can they really do? Because it being post Watershed, I'm not sure.
Sure.
We haven't got long until we find out.
I still say that that Huniverse show would do well to get Simon there in the corner with his keyboard, just providing all the musical accompaniment. You know,
that's what I'd like.
Elevate that show no end.
We would, put an entire story, play an entire story, and put it on mute, and get Simon to perform and compose on the spot an entirely new score for a classic story. In synth.
Oh,
yes, that'd be amazing.
I'd love that. That would be awesome.
Simon electro pop.
We're committing Simon to all these things, and he's going to come back and he's like, "You what?"
Simon will be returning everybody in a couple of weeks' time, and we will plead complete ignorance to this conversation. Of course, Squarials says Bill Silver. Same to you, Bill. Mind your language, sir.
I've just had a revolting thought when Gary was mentioning promotion about the war between the thingy and the thingy and the thongy. I really hope, because of the you mentioned post Watershed, and I really hope there is not a bedroom scene between Kate and Colonel Sexy Time.
Well, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh no, I hope not. I really hope not. Would they go there? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah,
but it's going to be between the fish lady and the other guy. Yeah.
Someone has got to save the world. This time it's down to what looks like the HR department to sort this one out. I don't hold out much hope, David, I have to say, but fortunately we will be here to light the way, or to offer you refreshments, to maybe in the hope that you may make it through all 5 episodes of that with us here. We wouldn't let you down. Of course we wouldn't. Thanks for your company again this time, guys. It's been a hell of a week, considering there's not been a great deal of news. We've still had some fabulous conversations. That's down to you stout fellows.
Well,
thank you.
I intentionally always come on these streams never knowing what you're going to be offering us. So it's
Gary,
like just
ignorance is often bliss.
Cold reaction.
It's been
no, I prefer that. It's like that way you get my unvarnished reaction. Can I just call out a comment from my good buddy Richard Brooks in the chat, where he has a great suggestion that they need to get Suze Kempner in as Doom to start presenting some of these shows.
Doomsday.
You know, Suze Kempner from Doomsday. Oh, Dan's, he's already memory hold it. He's totally forgotten.
He'll come back to me.
Yeah, he's already memory hold it.
Yeah. You've only got 24 hours before she dies, and she must save the Doctor.
That's right.
She'll be across various different platforms.
See, our imaginations are crackling, aren't they? Just think where we're going to be come December the 7th.
We are. You know what? We are like an untapped well of great ideas. If somebody from the BBC would only just call us
a bit, aren't we? They'd be mad. They'd be mad not to be writing all of this down.
For the
Gary, stop it. Use the mind probe.
Not the mind probe.
Peter Harrington.
Not the mind probe.
Wise words. And Crimpling the Balloon advises that we should be watching Talking Pictures at 3:00 in the morning. What?
We could do a watch along, a type 40 after hours watch along.
3 a.m.
You know, it always. I've got a applaud Crimpling because I don't know how he comes up every week with all of these just amazing, all the shows with every Doctor Who related actor under the sun. It always amazes me.
He does it so we don't have to. That's William Hartnell in The Agitator. What a brilliant name for a film. Yeah, so that's on 3 a.m. Monday morning, Talking Pictures TV. Also stars Mary Morris from Kinder and John Laurie from Dad's Army. I don't think you can go far wrong with all of those craggy faces in one movie. The Agitator. Get on it. Yes, that sounds...
That's almost kind of like, like in the 80s, we had Edward Woodward as the Equalizer. It's like in the 60s, William Hartnell is the Agitator.
Yeah. I'm agitated, young man.
I'm seriously annoyed with you.
Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, yes, I think that does wrap it up this time. We'll be back to deliver more. Of course we will, once we've run around the old girl for a little while longer, but we're going to be back right at you before you know it. So make sure you're subscribed. Check you're still subscribed. If you think you're subscribed, because YouTube can be tinkers like that, and smash that cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's coming next. More live streams, more podcasts, lots of videos and segments, all on the way to you between now and then, whenever then is. I think so. Thanks again to Charlotte Shields. Hope you enjoy Wicked. What's it called? Wicked All the Way? Wicked
for good.
Wicked
for good.
That's a porno, isn't it? Wicked for good. Wicked all the way. Oh, God. Enjoy. Okay, we'll cut that bit. We'll cut that bit afterwards. Okay, take two. Enjoy Wicked for good, Charlotte.
Yes.
And we want to hear all about it next week, by which time she'll probably have seen it 3 or 4 times. Yes, and thank you again to my esteemed colleague, Mr. David Milling. Again, thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Gary Akers as well. A sterling performance, both. And I think we've sort of got some answers, kind of, or at least processed some of what we've heard so far. We can't promise any of it will happen.
We put out a little bit of unsubstantiated speculation out into the world, so hopefully that'll get some traction.
We've done our bit. Yeah. We've definitely done our bit, and we'll be back with a balance. Of course, we will for Doctor Who Day. So make sure you're here and notified here at Type 40, where we always have the time. If you have the space, happy Doctor Who Day. We'll see you soon.